Hello everybody, welcome back to another YouTube video. So this week a friend of mine asked me to make a avatar for him because he is considering editing my videos. So that's what we're doing today. He sent me this little picture. Now I think this picture is very cute. I think it's very well proportioned in my opinion, and I wanted to basically fix some of the line issues and just convert it to a bit of a cleaner, more digital style while keeping a lot of the same energy. So first I started out by taking the picture and setting it to max brightness and contrast just so it looked more white. And then I outlined everything on digital. I basically fixed any proportional issues that only looked okay in pencil and wouldn't look good with straighter lines. And I shaped it around everything, basically doing a trace job around it. And this took a while, especially because I kind of wanted to reshape the coat to be bended because this little avatar was inspired by Mimikyu and Marshadow. He wanted it to be like a mix between those two Pokemon. So I had to figure out basically how to mix the two and how to keep like the clean, cold, shadowy Marshadow while also keeping the kind of misshapen, fake look that Mimikyu has while also keeping the spirit of his original design. So, after I got done tracing and proportioning, it looked like this. I was pretty happy with it, and it was what I planned to do. And so then I started thickening the lines, adding any small details that needed to be detailed, any reshaping that needed to happen to make it look cleaner. You know, now that I had the basic framework done, I erased any lines that were too thick, any areas that I accidentally over detailed. I shaped the smoke, I fixed up some of the sleeve issues. A lot of the sleeve looked a little wonky, especially where the little exit where the hands are supposed to be. I don't know what that's called. And this took way longer than you think. It was like really frustrating to do this. I genuinely hated it. Anyway, after I got done with that, I started working with color palettes. I wanted like the grays and blacks of Marshadow while also having like the beige and brown and kind of bluish shadow that Mimikyu has. And then I added some red just because I think red and orange had a nice little touch, kind of highlight everything. Also, the Mimikyu, a lot of people don't know this, the tail is wood, and I really like that, so when it came to this, I wanted to highlight that. So I started coloring the eyes, shaping everything. That's why I added the wood texture onto the tail before, I don't know if you noticed that. So I began to color. This obviously didn't take as long, I just kind of had to fill in all the blank spaces. Right now you're seeing a lot of the eye work, simply because that's what I worked on the most. And then I colored in the shadows, and I did the jacket, did the little zipper, and this is just the basic coloring. And if you're liking this, maybe consider subscribing. I put a lot of effort into this, so if you'd like to subscribe and turn on all notifications, that would be cool beans. Anyway, now, we're cutting here. You see it fully colored, and I am kind of adding gradients and cheek marks and all that good stuff, There's a lot of layers. Oh, by the way, I was watching a bunch of YouTube videos while doing this, so you're going to see my little Mudkip guy there, because I don't believe in stealing content, so I'm going to cover up any content of this video that isn't mine. And I use the graphite effect to blend everything. Man, I gotta sneeze. Anyway, and I had to use different layers, obviously, because I didn't want to smudge the cheek and the face lines and stuff like that. So I just kind of went over everything. I made the eyes pure blue just so I could figure out everything without having to worry about those lines. Dude, this took so long, me trying to add like a pattern to the eyebrows. And then I kind of thickened up the smoke, cleaned up any of those like white lines that stick there because the paint feature on this kind of annoyed me. Oh, and if you want to know what art app I'm using Adobe Fresco, and now it looks like this. This is everything fully colored and ready to be, I guess, rendered. So I began rendering. I started adding shadows, blending more color, making sure that all of the color worked into the shadows, and I had to end up recoloring the face because it ended up looking a little bit wonky, as you can see here, and then I added another shadow over it, just making the whole thing like pretty dark, and I erased the shadow around it. I also had to fix the ear, which you'll see eventually, because the ear looked a little bit off. He didn't like the shadow ear, and I misunderstood that, so I gave it a full ear, which he also did not want. He also wanted me to make the eyebrows darker. I added these little red stars to the eye that I thought were very cute and kind of looked like the little stars on my little Mudkip guy, so I figured that was fitting. Anyway, I fixed up the thickening of the lines around the log so you're not seeing those like ugly white marks. This took way longer than you think. I use Adobe Fresco, so if you're interested in what app I used, that's the one I used. I highly recommend it. I really do love Adobe Fresco so much. It's so good. Then I started fixing the shadows around the coat and everything, because this jacket is actually based on a jacket he wears like a lot. Then I added shadows to everything, and I was actually kind of proud with it, because that's where the line was supposed to be. After that, I continued adding shadows. Sorry, I'm a little tired here. And, oh, there's a Gmail notification. That's fun. Anyway, so then I started blending the shadows, making sure everything kind of looked polished and scuffed and a little bit messy, per se. Yeah. And then I added some shine, adding some white pastel highlights to it. And near the end, I added a black background and a little red light glowing onto it, some more shadow, and it looked like this. Now, I really like this. He did not like it as much. He didn't like the way the ear looked, and he figured the eyebrows were a little awkward. So I began redoing it. He was disappointed. Disappointed! To say the least. Oh, also, he wanted the coat to change color, so I had to change color. I changed it to more royal blue, then re-added the shadows to it. Then I had to, after fixing all of that, I had to reproportion the sleeves, had to re-highlight, then I added back more shadows around the zipper and the highlight around the zipper, added more shadows. I added this like white highlight around the face and shadow that I really liked. I really like adding that kind of like Sugimori white highlight. Not that my artwork is anywhere near his, but you know what I mean. I had to change the color of the legs because they were like entirely too dark. And then I added this kind of like pastel black and white highlights to the red ears, which I had to crinkle up the ear a little bit because he didn't like it being so perfectly shaped. He wanted to be more wrinkly like Mimikyu, so I did that. Then I had to re-put the face on because I ended up erasing the face because he figured the face was too pale. So I did that. That was fun. And by fun, I mean really, really annoying. Anyway, so I added that kind of sickening blue eye that I really like, and I just kind of copy and pasted that, not gonna lie. And then I re-added those little dots because he didn't like the dots. Yeah. Tell me, hopefully you like this, I spent a lot of time on my artwork, so if you guys like these videos, I'm going to continue making them as I learn. Then I re-added the white thing, and, here it is. I really like this. I thought it was a huge improvement. I was kind of like, okay, he was right. But then, he wanted molds. For some reason, he was just like, oh, my design needs to be moldy. After I redesigned this thing like 2 times. I was so... Anyway, so I'm like, okay, but I'll do this. So I took this design that I worked really hard on and added mold, as you can see here. Mold. You got your mold. Are you happy? Are you happy, editor? You got mold. Anyway, I hope you liked this video. Okay, so I'm going to be playing this next thing, which is a trailer for another video I was supposed to make a while ago. What makes a hero a hero? Is it when they choose mercy? When they don't let their anger seep in and take the revenge they also deserve? For over 50 years, he's been many things. A lawyer, a vigilante, a man caught between 2 worlds. But there's one choice that defines him. Every single time. He doesn't kill. Not because it's easy, not because he's short, but because he refuses to become judge, jury, and executioner. The world is a cold, depraved place, a sickness that only gets sicker. How do you stay warm? How do you not lose yourself to the darkness? Every version of him has asked the same question, from the early comics to the man we see now. When does mercy become his greatest weakness? What happens when that breaks? Mercy, Why Daredevil is Daredevil, a Purple Medkit video essay, releasing April 30th, 2026. It isn't a story. It's a hero's cross to bear. Hopefully, okay, you just saw that? Hopefully, you, liked it. Now here's the thing. This is a video I was supposed to release on April 30th. I did not. And sadly, this video has been delayed a while due to a lack of research and an illness and a family friend. I have not had time to properly write a script, so I am basically delaying this. But if you saw that and you're like, oh, I like his style of content, or ooh, I want to see that when it comes out, maybe consider subscribing and dropping a follow and turning on all notifications. I'm very excited for my new editor. He's a really good friend of mine. I love the guy. Was happy to make an avatar for him. Happy to add mold. Go check out my other videos if you haven't seen them. I have one video up called that's like my first video, not really, but it was supposed to be, and I put a lot of effort into it, and nobody saw it. So like, if you're seeing this video and you're new, like, if you could check that out, that'd be pretty cool. Anyway, bye. I hope you have a blessed and wonderful day. Blessed and wonderful. And remember that Jesus loves you, and I love you too. Bye.